So there are loads of ways to cut half lap joint. Now don't get me wrong, some of them are easier than others, and arguably some of them give a nicer finish than others do. In my opinion, it isn't the tool that matters, it's why you're using it that really counts. So in a previous video, I showed you how to cut a bare bones half lap joint using a handsaw and a chisel. And as awesome as that is, I don't think it's the only way to be doing it. It's just the easy way to do it when you don't have a lot of kit. And for me, depending on whether I'm on site or in the workshop, the job that I'm trying to do, or the materials that I'm using, I'll choose different methods. So let me show you the different ways to cut half lap joints and when each one actually makes sense. So for me personally, I love using a table saw. It's super easy to set the depth correctly, super easy to get vertical shoulders on the joint. Now there's different ways to do it on a table saw. You could use a mitre gauge, you could use a sled like I do, or if you're really lucky, you might have like a sliding table. But there's a couple caveats that when you're cutting any sort of joinery on a table saw. Number one is you're going to need the correct blade. So the blade I have on my table saw is a Saxton blade. It's an FTG, so it's a flat top grind. And what that means is when you cut it and you run the blade through the piece of material, you get a flat top. And that's important because it makes cleaning the cut up so much easier. Now you do need to get it set up correctly, and you do need to make sure that whatever you're using, whether it's a mitre gauge, a sled, or your sliding table, that it's set up perfectly and you're at 90 degrees to the blade. Because otherwise what's going to happen is when you cut it, it's going to come off at an angle like that. The other thing is safety, right? You're not going to kick huge heavy pieces of timber on there for the half laps. I tend to do it a lot with smaller pieces of timber, you know, stuff that's up to 4 foot long, stuff that I can safely handle on the table saw. Now if you've got a sliding table, it's a little bit different, but you know what I'm saying. And the other beautiful thing about it, especially if you're using a sled, is you can set up a stop on the sled. It means that all your cuts can be repeatable. So if you know that you're going to use a whole bunch of timber and it's going to be all sized exactly the same, you can just set your stop up and just zip through it. And I love an efficiency saving when I'm doing a job, I tell you. And obviously the last thing to be aware of is your guarding. So I have an overhead crown guard, which covers everything. So everything that goes underneath, as soon as it's anywhere near the blade, it's covered by the guard. You must be careful if you're removing any sort of guarding on a machine. And a lot of people, if they're going to use a sled, they're going to remove the guard. So you just must be careful with it. The next one is a router and a base plate, right? I've got some videos here of me using the beast of a router, the Trend one, to trim out some half laps on some form of force. Now you might notice what I've got is I've got an extended plate. That's just cut from some perspex. You know, we have the laser machine. You can just do it by hand with a drill and a countersink. But having that extended plate on there really makes life a lot easier because it gives you a lot more stability when you're working with a big machine. I personally prefer to use a 1/2 inch router when doing work like this, just because it's easier, simpler, and you can just hog out as much material as possible. Again, you can set it up so that you get perfectly clean shoulders, which are 90 degrees to the rest of the timber. It's easy to get consistent depth if you set your depths correctly. However, it can be a slower setup and it's not always the easiest and quickest thing to do. But when you're working on big timbers like the ones in the video, I think it's the best way to do it, to be honest. And you can see it doesn't just have to be for half lap joints, it can be used for housing joints as well, and it gives a nice tight fit. But again, for one-offs, I don't know whether I'd really do it just because it's a bit of a faff to get everything set up. And for smaller bits of timber, the table saw is a little bit of an easier, quicker setup. Probably the easiest way you're going to do it on site is by using the trenching function on a mitre saw. This comes with its own pros and cons, right? You can get tear out on the back of the cut, so it always helps to put a false fence in there. If your mitre saw isn't particularly strong or rigid, as you pull that down, you might hit the trenching stop and then pull it even further, so you might end up with a bit of an uneven cut. And so what I tend to do is I tend to cut it to almost maybe about a mil and a half above the line and then finish it off with a chisel. That's the same deal with housing cuts, you know, just like the router, nice and easy. You just need to be careful with what you're doing. Don't get me wrong, it is a solid way to do it. Just for me personally, I think there's quicker, easier, maybe safer ways to do it. But again, if that's what you've got, go ahead and get at it. Track saw or circular saw, right, would be the last one that we'll talk about. I think when you're on site, this is like a really solid option because it allows you to set the depth. It's nice and easy. As long as your saw's set up correctly, you're going to get 90-degree cuts. And it sort of gives you the opportunity to take a step back, you know, line everything up, get it right, and then do a run through. And I know there are companies like Mafel, Vestal, I think, they do like a special track that you can fit to your circular saw and you can pop it on and just zip through it. But those tools aren't cheap and I don't have them. So I'm only going on how I would do it. And so you might be saying to me, Josh, why use hand tools when you have all these other options? And if I'm being really honest, I still use a chisel and a mallet just to clean everything up, even whether I've cut it on the table saw, chop saw, or whether I've done it with a router. I do think it's especially nice because it's not noisy. It doesn't create any hassle for you. You can keep the dust to a minimum. And if we're being honest, right, let's be really honest, everybody loves a little bit of hand tool work. Makes you feel quite special in the workshop, doesn't it? And the people that I've worked with or watched online who actually know what they're doing and do it all the time, man, they can zip through it and do a perfect joint. It's very enjoyable to watch, that's for sure. But that being said, they are way ahead of me and my skills. And like I said in the other video, I think it's extremely important to start at the basic level, learn how to do things without power tools, and then move from there. Because as with anything in life, I think if you get a solid foundation when you're learning, it makes everything from that point on super easy. Well, well, easier, let's say. So most people will argue about which tool that they think is best, argue about which brand they think is best, but they'll argue about which tool they think is best, which method which they think is best. But for me personally, I think it's all case dependent, you know, because like I said, if I'm doing something like this or something simple and small like this, table saw for me personally, super easy. If I'm out on a building site, I'm probably going to do the saw method, the chop saw method, you know, the mitre saw method. But if I'm making housing joints or lap joints in 4x4, 6x6 material, right, I need them to be perfectly bang on, then a router is probably going to be the best option. But again, it's all dependent on what you've got, right? So that's how I would do it. I just think some methods make more sense than others, depending on the job. So all of that being said, how do you cut half laps and why do you do it? I would love to know in the comments. All right, I hope you have a great day. Thank you very much for watching. You take it easy.